Obviously, this needs a bit of backstory, and it's a long one, so from the start. The first partner I had was when I was 18 years old and fresh out of high school, and his name was James. It was a casual relationship in the sense that both of us were just enjoying that transient stage of life where you travel, work a bunch of random jobs, meet new people, and let go of old ones. But it was a serious relationship in terms of the way we felt about each other. We adored each other and never really got sick of each other. Neither of us had any future plans, but we just didn't care because we felt like we could tackle anything together, and both of us were independent spirits in a way too. Unfortunately, a year and a half into our relationship, James was in a car accident and didn't make it. It was an awful time in my life that broke me apart, but with support from friends and family as well as James' family, I managed to continue moving forwards in life. A couple of years later, and I'm 21, I meet Hamish. He knew pretty early on what I had been through and was an absolute gem about everything. He was in his late 20s and had kind of secured his place in the world already, and in a way he kind of anchored me, something I didn't know how much I needed and wanted till it did. We made a partnership, and after about 8 months together I moved in with him. He had his own house and a steady job already, and I had just started my degree, so I played homemaker a lot of the time and things really fell into place naturally. I had finally begun to trust that I could be happy again when I got a call from his worksite that he had been injured at work and was en route to hospital. Unfortunately, he sustained a serious head injury and didn't regain consciousness. His family pulled him off life support a week later, and that was that. I fell into a much deeper depressive hole this time round. It didn't help that I also lost the home I had with him since we were not married at his time of death, so in a blur of grief and depression, I was also packing boxes and had to move back in with family because I couldn't afford a rental on my own. I dropped out of college and tried to figure out some semblance of normal. Again. At 24, about 10 months after Hamish's passing, I meet Adam at a community event. We hit it off, but I was definitely not looking for a partner at that point in time, so we were friends for a few months and spent a lot of time doing activities together, volunteering together, and just being in each other's company. He introduced me to his wide circle of friends, which really helped me out because after Hamish passed, a lot of my old ones had not stuck around. Adam and I reached boiling point on a group camping trip and ended up sharing a tent and confessing feelings. He understood my hesitation to take things further and basically said he could be whatever I needed him to be at that point in time. As time goes on, we go on more dates and get more intimate, and I eventually realize we are well and truly in a relationship. I struggled a lot with waiting for the other shoe to drop, and just as I was letting go of that feeling, the worst happened and Adam was killed very suddenly. At this point, I basically had a nervous breakdown and did spend some time in an inpatient facility because of my inability to cope with the situation at hand. I didn't know how it was all happening again. Fast forward 2 years to 27. I graduated my degree after many years of part-time study. I am living independently finally. I'm going to therapy regularly. I'm trying to live life just one day at a time. I am not looking for any kind of relationship because frankly I am too petrified to. I have a small but close group of friends who have supported me through the worst and the best times in my life. And after landing a graduate position in my field, I meet Joel. A sweet, kind, funny, adoring 39-year-old. Everything you could want in a partner. We both go back and forth for a while, but about 6 months after meeting we begin dating. And about 6 months after we start dating, he gets diagnosed with stage 3 colorectal cancer. As you already know from the title of my post, unfortunately his treatment plan failed and I lost Joel only a little over a year after meeting him. I am not generally a superstitious person, but at this point I feel as though there is a curse on me that I am undateable. I can't imagine ever wanting to date another man again, because what if by doing so I am condemning him to death? When I expressed those fears to Joel, he understood, and it was one reason why it took some time for us to be together. And then look what happened. I still receive therapy regularly, but therapy only goes so far and I feel like I need some true advice. The other main thing I struggle with is the way people in my town look at me. It is a mid-sized regional city. Some people were at all 4 funerals to give you some idea of the size of the town, even though none of my late partners knew each other. Everyone knows OF everyone here, and people stare at me as though I'm poisonous or guilty of something. I wonder all the time about whether I should leave town and move somewhere fresh. I know that doesn't solve all my problems, but I feel like at least the people wouldn't have preconceived notions of me, and should I ever date again that men won't recoil from me. I feel totally lost, and I am not sure how my 20s has been stolen by so much grief and heartache and how I became a magnet for death. I feel about 40 years older than any other 28-year-old. TLDR, I have been a magnet for death and have lost 4 boyfriends. I feel like a cursed object, and I'm unsure whether moving will help me start fresh or just exacerbate my isolation. And #X200B. Edit, I never expected this post to get this many responses. The comments along with messages in my DMs has left me incredibly overwhelmed and thankful. I didn't know what to expect when I posted this, but some of the words people have offered to me will echo in my head moving forwards in the best way possible. I'm going to do my best today to reply to all the comments that helped me. I know many people accuse me of faking this post, and if you want to think that, then I guess that's your prerogative, but to clear up a few of the reasons why people think it is a lie. I didn't go into detail about Adam's passing because there are still some ongoing legal aspects surrounding it, and because I am identifiable to some people, I didn't want to risk posting anything that could interfere with that process until it is over. A lot of people seem to be up in arms about the name Hamish, forgetting that it's not his real name. He was not foreign, not that it would matter if he was. I don't live in a city, it's just not the smallest town in the world, and I was trying to give an indicator as to the size. When I talk about where I'm from, I use the word town, or I say going into town. It's also not a college town, I did my degree online. I have seen northern exposure, and I told my best friend that if my number 5 got hit with a satellite dish, that's the point where I would probably call it quits on life. Edit 2, as I just scrolled down to sift through and respond, I realize the whole thread has been locked, so I can't reply to comments directly. I'll just mention now those whose words had a deep impact on me, and who have helped guide me and make things a little clearer in my mess of a head. U/Larryman, U/Ebby45, U/DNurseWriter, U/Lauren Disorder /. Your comment in particular is the one I can't shake. You aren't cursed. You are blessed with being the last person that each of these men loved, and I am deeply appreciative of you taking the time to say that. There are so many more, and please know that every comment was helpful in its own way. People sharing their losses or giving advice or just commiserating. Thank you. My 22 female boyfriend's 24 male new tattoo makes me feel like a beep. Link to original post. And #X200B. I don't know what the beep has happened, but things have turned into an absolute clusterfuck. I received some really great advice from people, and honestly thought talking to him was going to work out well. I was still pretty nervous though, and not sure how to bring it up. His mood has been pretty touch and go lately, so I was worried about picking the right moment, and kept putting it off until later in the night when he tried initiating beep, and I thought that was a good time to start the conversation. I basically said, I know you've noticed something's been off lately, and that's because I haven't been entirely comfortable during beep since you got your new tattoo. I absolutely love it for what it is and what it stands for, but it's just difficult for me to stay in the moment because it's really hard not to look at it and be reminded of what happened. I stopped here to see what his reaction would be so far, and he was just silent for a while and then said, so, what, you want me to get rid of him? I beep explicitly beep said no, I would never ask you to do that, and then told him it might just take me some time to get used to it, until it's not so noticeable anymore, and in the meantime maybe he could keep his shirt on during beep, or we could try some other ideas. This is where beep started to hit the fan. He said all that sounded ridiculous to him, and that I was being extremely insensitive and selfish, and honestly sick for even associating his little brother with beep, and asked if I was beep sick in the head. I beep up here. I shouldn't have said this, but I don't handle confrontation well, and I pretty much lost my cool at this point. I told him to go beep to a picture of his brother and tell me how that makes him feel. He completely exploded at this point, saying that was a disgusting thing to say, and started calling me a number of names. He then started to get extremely personal, saying I never cared about his little brother and that I'm probably happy he's out of the picture. That is hand down the most hurtful thing he has ever said to me. I still can't believe it, and I don't think I'm ever going to forgive HM for that. Like seriously, what the beep? Just thinking about it is making me beep shake. He knows exactly how I feel about his brother and how hard his death was for both of us, and for him to still say something like that. He can seriously go beep himself, because I'm definitely not going to be doing it anymore. He then started shouting that if it was seriously that big of a deal for me that he would get the whole thing layered off, but he hopes I know I'm basically killing his brother all over again. I was crying so much at this point, I didn't get a chance to respond before he stormed out of the house and just took off. I have no idea where he's gone or where he is, and I honestly don't even know if I care at this point. He's not answering his phone or responding to any messages. I still can't believe he reacted the way he did. He was like a completely different person. Not once in the 4 years I've known him out of all the arguments we've had has he ever spoken to me like that before. I was up all night on the phone to my sister, and she was just as shocked as I was. Then this beep morning I get a lovely beep call from my boyfriend's sister, who called me disgusting and heartless and evil for forcing HIM to remove the tattoo. Apparently he's been going around to his family and all their friends telling them I've given him an ultimatum of me or his tattoo. WHAT the beep, I explicitly told HIM I would never ask HIM to do that. When I told his sister this, she just called me a lying beep beep, wished all my siblings dead, and then hung up. Feckin' lovely. I seriously don't know why he's reacted the way he has, or why he's going around lying about me making him get rid of it. I'm still in total shock and just so confused. I hope typing all this out would help me figure things out a little, but reading this over has just made me angrier. I don't see what I could have done differently. I shouldn't have made the beep comment. That's clearly what set him off, but that doesn't explain why he's lying now to everyone. I'm just at a complete loss right now. A day ago I thought of this guy as my future husband, and now I just don't know. I wish I never said anything. I've spent 4 years of my life with this guy, but this is a side of him I've never seen before. I'm so upset right now, my immediate thought is to just cut things off completely. How the beep would we even move forward from this? Am I the one in the wrong here for the comment I made? I know I shouldn't have said it, but I personally think he completely overreacted to it. And how am I supposed to convince our friends he's the one lying here? Anything I say is just going to sound like I'm lying in response to their negative reactions. I seriously have no idea what I'm supposed to do here. I feel like this is going to ruin my life. I just don't beep no. Final update for anyone wanting closure.